Fit to Love, episode 92, Dangers of Mindset.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Thoughtful Thursdays. Today's show, the danger of mindset. You've probably heard this term, been thrown around in the fitness industry for a long time, or business. Lots of times people want to change your mindset, and granted, I'm one of them. I think I even said mindset on the opening video for fittolove.tv because mindset's one of those terms that people understand, and they think, oh, I should change my mindset. So let's break this down and start understanding first what we mean by mindset and what it gets translated to you as, how it can help, and how it can hurt. So first, mindset would be the way in which we show up, the way in which we interpret our strategy or plan for how we deal with something. And that's all really about your conscious mind when it comes to how someone wants to help you tweak your mindset. That's like talking to yourself and having a different self-talk. And that's very important. Your self-talk is what drives your actions. Your self-talk and your beliefs are what create your emotions. And so your whole experience of life is about your interpretation. But it's your interpretation in two different parts, what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And when it comes to mindset, we, and I'm going to include myself in that, people in the fitness industry or in small business or in financial or maybe even sales, they want to persuade you to have a different mindset. How can I explain something different to you so that you're going to make a different choice? How do I motivate you or inspire you to want to make a different choice? And the good news is that it is using your conscious mind. And your conscious mind is something you have control over because you're aware of your thoughts and you're aware of your feelings. When it comes to the breakdown of our mind, 88% of your mind is subconscious, which leaves only 12% of your mind as conscious. So conscious mind, I'm sure we've talked about this on many shows or touched upon it so far with different experts that have come and talked about hypnosis, and we've talked about the mental and emotional connection. So your conscious thoughts are something you have absolute control over. You're aware of your thoughts, therefore you can choose your thoughts. You're aware of your focus and what you're looking at and the story that you're telling yourself, and you can change that. But remember, only 12% of your mind is conscious. The majority, the 88% of your mind, is subconscious. So what happens? What happens now that I have the majority of my mind as being something I can't hear or have access to easily? Well, how do you know what your subconscious mind thinks or believes or is telling you? Well, that's where I like to add in a little bit of law of attraction, which again would be a tomorrow's show, a Freedom Friday show, but I'm going to add it in here because it's important. And whether you call it law of attraction or just cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness and awareness, it's your emotions. Your emotions will be a good indicator of what's going on in your subconscious mind. Now, your job, and I'm not recommending that everyone necessarily go to explore and make it a point to try on your own to solve the subconscious mind and what those emotions are. But your emotions are your guidance system to let you know what must be going on there, especially if you're not thinking a thought that you're not aware of that's producing the emotion. So I think I need to go back for a second because I've been wanting to do a show on thoughts and feelings and which comes first. And while I haven't done a full show yet, and we're going to hear about it in the next coming weeks, we've got some nonviolent communication practitioners scheduled to do some interviews. And I've been researching and studying this work for a while, and actually my next book is about this very, very topic about emotions and thoughts and decoding and managing and getting your needs met. When I ask a group of people, what comes first, your thoughts or your feelings? Most of the time, at least half, if not the majority of the room, raise their hands to say emotion comes first. And the reason why people are aware of their emotions coming before their thoughts is because they feel something. They're aware that they're having a sensation in their body. Maybe their heart is beating faster, or they're starting to sweat, or there's a pit in the stomach or in the chest. That's a visceral feeling if you're aware of it. And so all of a sudden you're having this feeling, but you weren't aware of the thoughts that created it. Now, in order to have a feeling, you have to have a thought first. It does come down to your thoughts. When I look at something and interpret it, I'm going to have a response to it, and that's where the feeling comes in. So the thoughts come first. So back to mindset. Mindset is dealing with your thoughts. And as we've talked about, you've got 12% of your mind that's conscious. So that's really not working with the whole picture now, is it? Mindset's great to start the ball rolling. Mindset's great for you to start to become aware and mindful of what it is you're thinking and the stories that you're telling yourself. Many times we go through life and we have a response to something and we never question, well, why did I respond that way? Why do I feel this way? What am I telling myself about the situation that causes this emotion? And until we start to become aware of that, we don't know why we're feeling the way we're feeling. And so when we're in that position, it's really hard to change it. So a lot of the mindset work that's going on out there with business and with weight loss and exercise is all about how to control and better influence your conscious mind. So I'm sure by now you can probably guess what the problem is and the danger is with just dealing with the mindset. Is that we're talking about willpower and controlling our thoughts and choosing our thoughts. And it's not necessarily controlling in a stressful way, but it's a lot of effort just in your head. And while again, law of attraction is all about focus and thinking a better thought and producing a better feeling, but there's a marriage that needs to happen between the head and the heart, or the head and the soul for that matter. We did a show, episode 82, and as far as I'm concerned, it's still the most important show that I've done. It's called Understanding and Healing Addiction. And when I say addiction, I don't just mean drugs, alcohol, and food. Many of us have an addiction in control. We are so control-oriented that we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable or to allow others to help or aid us. Some of us have an addiction in chaos. As long as I stay busy, I can't be with myself to feel what's going on inside of me. Some of us have an addiction in shopping or in technology or in television. And so all of a sudden we're distracted regularly and disconnected from what's going on inside of us. That show, episode 82, Understanding and Healing Addiction, outlined how the feelings underneath and those subconscious beliefs and thoughts create those feelings that really make up the majority of what it is we're vibrating, what it is we're emanating, what it is we're putting out there in the world for people to respond to. And so the problem, of course, with mindset is that we're not allowing what's really there to be seen and heard and understood and therefore processed. When it comes to emotion, and I'm working on some kind of image. I'm thinking of a tree. And maybe I'll work it out here on the show when you give me some feedback. So for those left brain people out there, hopefully this will make this really clear for you. And if you're a right brain person, you have no problem with your emotions. But now we're going to look at it in a structured way. So maybe dealing with them and managing and processing them get easier and not necessarily anchoring into an emotion and repeating it, repeating it, repeating it because you're so used to feeling that you don't know how to get out of the feeling. So imagine a tree, and it's got what's above the ground and the roots that are below the ground. And those roots are what take in the water and the nutrients to fuel and nourish the tree. And while you may cut off a branch of the tree, the rest of the tree may still be really healthy and strong because it's getting the nutrients it needs below the surface where you can't see it. Now imagine if you were to inject poison into the ground, or there was a drought and those roots weren't getting any water. You wouldn't see it underneath the surface, but you would see its effect in the tree. Whether it be it didn't have any fruit, the fruit would be wilting, it would be bad, it would be poisonous, it would be a different color. I know from gardening with my husband that we learned to put eggshells on the ground in order to ward off the snails and the bugs. But what happened was the pH changed in the soil where the eggshells were, and so the purple flowers turned pink. Now that had nothing to do with the eggshells exactly where they were, it was the eggshells' effect on the roots of the flower and the change that happened above the surface. So now let's take this to your body. You are the tree, and your roots are your emotions, because your emotions are that chi, that energy that flows through you. It's your life force. It's what your aura is. When people approach you and you feel, or if you're approaching somebody, you can kind of feel people who are angry or negative or depressed or sad, or vice versa, people that are happy and solid and feel strong and confident and secure. There's a different energy. And that's why we have feng shui. We're changing the things in the room to allow the energy to flow in the best way possible for us. That's why we want to take care of our health and exercise to have better energy. That's why we go to therapy and listen to this show and do some of this work so that we feel better and we're happier, and we carry that with us all the time. So when it comes to an emotion that you have the option of allowing yourself to actually experience it or not. And there's a process of releasing emotion that needs to happen on a regular basis. In fact, we talked about it on one of the shows. I believe it was The Emotional Body. And that show was with Homa Sajadian, and she's an acupuncturist, a Chinese medicine acupuncturist. And we talked about how Chinese medicine deals with the emotional body, whether you know it or not. If you've had acupuncture, your acupuncturist is testing the pulse of all the different organs in your body to find out where you're holding on to something. And they don't need to know what it is. They just know something's stuck. So they're going to needle or acupressure or moxa you in a way, or cupping you in a way that's going to move that energy out of that stuck place so that things can flow better and heal and be released. It's kind of the same thing when thinking about an emotion. If you've had a deep hurt or anger and you haven't had the space to really allow it out of you, then it's probably stuck somewhere in you. And the longer it's stuck in you, just like rotten fish in a trash can that you don't take out for months and months and months. You can put smelly spray on top of it and put flowers in there and maybe some baking soda and whatever it is you want to do to try to lessen the smell. But until it is released from the trash can, it's stinking it up. And that's what's going on inside of our bodies. So the problem with mindset is that it doesn't allow us to process or be aware of what's going on with us that needs to be healed. So it kind of delays the process. Temporarily, you might have some change. You're going to change your mindset about exercise and food and nutrition and how you take care of yourself. And over time, the longer that you stay with that, the deeper it may go, and it may be able to release some of the things inside of you. But if it's just about willpower, then you're susceptible to be triggered. If it's just about the head, then your heart is susceptible because it's not healed yet. what's going on with you hasn't been healed yet. So what happens with mindset is it actually forces you just to be in your head and disconnects you from what's going on in your core, what's going on in your soul, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in a deeper place that you might not be aware of because we keep forcing our attention back into just our thoughts and just our head. Have you heard anyone say, oh, I really have to try and do this better, or I really need to let that go, or I really want to not respond or react that way anymore? And while they're saying it, though, you can feel or sense that they're trying really hard. Well, the problem with the trying really hard, again, is that's your willpower and your mind disconnecting from how you're feeling to force you to behave in a way that doesn't connect or match what you're feeling. Now, that might be a temporary solution for dealing with a situation that you might not have the luxury of having some help with to process and truly release and transform. But the end goal really would be best to take that root out, pull the root out from the ground so that it never grows again. And now the same stimulus has a different response to your body. So hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm totally bashing mindset, but it isn't the whole picture. And when I hear people talk about it and let's get your mindset, and me too, but again, I'm offering the whole picture. This show gives you every point of view and every point that integrates into the whole. It's a piece. Your conscious mind is a piece. You absolutely can shift your life, your results, your behavior, relationships by shifting your thoughts. But any of those stuck emotions and beliefs that are in your subconscious mind, that are in your body, any traumas that you have, if they are not processed, released, and transformed, they will creep back up to the surface again and again to ruin your mindset. When you get triggered, they'll take you down. And then you'll think that you failed in your mindset when it wasn't mindset that needed to do the work. So you're probably thinking, well, now what do I do with that? What do I do with mindset? Do I use it? Do I not use it? How am I supposed to have better relationships and better results in my life if I'm not supposed to use mindset? Well, I'm not telling you not to use mindset, but there are some tips and points that I do want to go over in order to best utilize it and not learn a new behavior, which is to overanalyze, overthink, and be in your head and disconnect from your heart, which is also about control and is an addiction. So we'll go over that in a minute. I just need to take a minute to thank our sponsors. If you are like most people who struggle with overeating, you may feel powerless over your habits and urges to eat. Powerless over what and how much you eat. Break the vicious cycle of emotional eating and take back your power over food with Dr. Lisa Gelper. Dr. Lisa Gelper has helped thousands discover their own power over food and help them to win freedom from the obsession and defeat that haunt yo-yo dieters, emotional eaters, and those who just hope to lose some weight. Visit her site at poweroverfood.com to read her articles, watch her videos, sign up for her monthly email tips, and check out her current classes. Again, that's poweroverfood.com. Did you know that 88% of your mind is subconscious? That means that the thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that are running your life are old, outdated programs that are hard to change with the conscious mind. The 6-week Beachbody program is a hypnosis-based program that tackles weight loss from the inside out and the outside in, using hypnotherapy for the mind and science for the body. If you're tired of trying diet after diet to only repeat the same patterns over and over again and not getting results, consider the 6-week Beachbody hypnosis-based program. Visit the products page on fittolove.tv to download it now. Okay, how do I use mindset and integrate it on a level that serves me in totality, that honors my thoughts and my feelings, my conscious and my subconscious, and allows me to process in the way that I need to without disconnecting and creating a new addiction. And that's really the point I wanted to get across in the show today, is that the whole idea of mindset is control, and control's an addiction. And while you get to choose your thoughts and you get to tell your story, and many people aren't even aware they're telling themselves a story or what they believe about a situation until you break it down, that's all conscious mind. And that's great work to do. So here's how to best use the idea of mindset. First, I want you to lean into the process and relax. Seriously, I want you to relax. I want you to actually slow down and disconnect. Unplug from your phone, from your computer, from your TV, from your iPad, from anything that keeps you busy, and disconnect. Unplug from friends and family. Take 5 minutes to sit with yourself. Take some nice deep breaths and see what comes up for you. I've actually had some friends tell me that they wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety. And what is that? And that is what's been going on underneath the surface the whole time. And you're keeping yourself so busy that you can't hear it. And it seems like, oh, I don't sleep very well. Oh, I get to sleep, but then I wake up in the middle of the night. That's because the fear and anxiety that's been going on inside of you this entire time finally can surface because there's no noise to cover it up. So rather than fearing the process and feeling at all pressure about this, it's not about feeling pressure. It's actually about feeling relief. And it's actually about feeling. So check in with yourself on a regular basis to see how you're feeling. Start to notice what you're feeling. And if that's the first thing that you're aware of, after you have the feeling, take a moment and ask yourself these questions. Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? What am I believing or interpreting about the situation that causes this emotion inside of me or that provokes this emotion inside of me? And how am I contributing to the situation? And is there anything I can do about it? So again, 1, what am I feeling? 2, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? 3, what is it I believe about the situation that evokes this feeling? And 4, how did I contribute and can I make any changes to the situation? Now that may seem like a lot of work, but it can be done pretty quickly. When you're having your emotion, stop for a second and be aware of it and figure it out. Don't power through it necessarily, allow it. One of the great phrases that I've learned recently about the thoughts and feelings and the energy and flow and connection between the two of them is like air, in and out like air. And I think that's a great visual to think about emotion, in and out like air. So you get mad, you let it go. You get mad, you process it and breathe it out. End of story. But the problem is when you're not aware of it and you're not processing, you stuff it. It's like food. You're going to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And at some point, you're going to explode. You can't eat anymore in order to stuff down the emotion. At some point, there's going to have to be a facing the internal conversation and awareness of a feeling. So we're going to do a show in the future on feelings because I know that a lot of people, while you may not think you are afraid of emotion, by the addictive behaviors that we all have, I'm just going to make the statement that a lot of people are afraid of their emotions because they think that our emotions mean something bad, that if they cry, that sadness means something's wrong, or that there's something wrong with me, or that I didn't do it good enough, or that I am not good enough, or that there's a mistake, or that I'm being punished. So even just by those examples I just gave you, you can see that someone crying could mean so many things to someone. And if any of those beliefs that I just shared with you resonate, then your probability of actually expressing and feeling that feeling is going to be really low because you're not going to want to embrace that belief. So how we can handle mindset is to be aware of your conscious mind. Check in with your feelings on a regular basis, and then see what you can do about it to evoke a better feeling. When it comes down to it, a lot of the beliefs that we have don't support us, and they're learned from somebody else, and they're not even yours. Somebody taught you this, and you just accepted it blindly. You have the ability to make a new story. You can decide that it's going to mean something else. Someone could say to me, well, you can't have that. When I lived in New York City and I wanted an apartment, I had a price and I had a location. And every person I talked to told me, you can't find that. And can't does not exist in my world. I said, yes, I can. And I did. Because I did believe that it's out there. And that's what it comes down to is really going, well, what is it that I believe? If you believe in lack and limitation, that's what you're going to get. And if you can identify that belief, then you know that's going to be the root of all of this frustration that you may have moving forward. And then you get the choice, do I keep that belief or do I change that belief? Did I choose to see the world this way or did someone else tell me it was this way? And is there anyone else out there thinking it's different? Because what ends up happening is people get so frustrated by other people's interpretations and they never stop to think that they themselves can look at the world differently. That's what's great about mindset and the ability to change your thoughts. Your awareness to your beliefs and your thoughts is so important for a good chunk of your experience. And using your awareness to empower you, to free you, and to soothe you are really powerful ways that you can use focus and thought to change your life. So mindset's a great idea. Just beware and don't let it get too caught up in disconnecting you from how you're feeling and being in true alignment from your head, your heart, and your soul. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please connect with me on fittolove.tv and let me know what you thought. If you are tired of trying diet after diet to only repeat the same patterns, consider the 6-week Beachbody hypnosis-based program. The 6-week Beachbody program tackles weight loss from the inside out. Visit the products page on fittolove.tv to download it now. The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE.tv. Have a fit and fabulous day.